Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This video here is not going to be my usual kind of content that you guys are used to. This is probably going to be my most depressing video I ever made, so brace yourselves for that. I want to get straight to the point because I know when this first happened to me 2 months ago, when I watched videos of people talking about this, I really wanted the person making the video to like get to the point and explain, like, you know, what they did, you know, how they got it, and everything that they did to sort of just deal with this condition. First thing I need to say right away, anyone watching this video that either has tinnitus or doesn't have it, please wear hearing protection when you go to a concert or any loud event. If you're shooting fireworks, if you're shooting weapons, if you're going to be around loud noise, a lot of loud noise, wear earplugs, wear some sort of protection, because I've learned the hard way now that our ears are very delicate and there's no repairing certain things when it comes to, you know, damage in your ears. So today is November 29th, 2023, and 2 months ago, on September 29th, I went to a concert and I did not wear hearing protection, and I now have tinnitus, or tinnitus as it's technically pronounced. So in this video, I'm going to have 3 sections, I guess. First section, I'm going to talk about what tinnitus is, and then I'm going to talk about how I got it, and then I'm going to talk about what I've done since and what I recommend for anyone dealing with this, okay? So, part 1, what is tinnitus? Okay, so I'm sure most of you guys know what it is. I knew what it was beforehand, but I did not know how bad it was. So if you guys have seen the movie Baby Driver, which came out in 2017, I believe, it's not that old of a movie. That's actually where I first learned about it. I was 21 when that movie came out, so I did not know what tinnitus was until I was 21. It's basically this condition to where in your ears you hear constant ringing all the time. Now, it's not always ringing. For some people it's different. It could be either like a buzzing noise or like beeping noise, or like a sound similar, something similar to like crickets. There's all kinds of different noises. Whooshing, you know, apparently. Mine is a ringing, which I feel like is probably the most common kind of tinnitus. And for most people, it is 24/7. It does not turn off. Some people have it to where it'll go away. It'll just randomly attack them for like a couple minutes and go away. It'll go away for a couple days. It's basically something that has no cure, and for everybody is unique. So there's different ways people can get it. They can get it from loud noise, as I mentioned, which is what happened to me. They can get it from muscle tension. They can get it from stress. They can get it from earwax buildup, excess fluid in the ears. There's all kinds of ways people can get it. Sinus infections, ear infections. So it's actually a very common thing. Apparently millions of people have it, which is kind of scary to think about. So, and like I mentioned, there's no cure for this, okay? Because it is something you just sort of have to like either learn to live with, or you can take certain supplements that may or may not help with it. Which I have been taking some supplements, which I'll, you know, show you later. But that's basically what the gist of it is. It's this constant ringing in your ears, and unless you have it, you don't really know how bad it is, okay? Because, you know, like I said, I learned about it through the movie Baby Driver, and the movie does not focus on that. The character, the main character, he has it, but he wears music. He wears earphones all the time to drown it out. He listens to music constantly. That's what his character is in the movie. But they don't really dwell on tinnitus. They don't really dwell on, you know, how terrible of a condition it is, and, you know. Now, in the film, the character gets it from a car accident he was in when he was a little boy. So I just assumed, you know, oh, because he was a young kid, his ears were more sensitive, and it was a car crash, you know, it was very loud. And so, again, I didn't know anything about tinnitus. I literally have never even looked it up in my life. Now, in the past 2 months, I've probably looked it up 1,000 times. So, yeah, it literally takes over your life once it happens to you. Okay, so how did I get it? Like I mentioned, I got it at a concert. So 2 months ago, on September 29th, I went to a concert, this band called Death Grips, and I'm sure most of you guys know who that is. It's a crazy experimental hip hop band. They're very loud, which, you know, I wasn't, you know, it's not like I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting that. I was expecting it to be very loud. And a little history of me with concerts. I've gone to many concerts in my life, especially in the last 10 years. I actually had a friend who was in a band, and I used to go to all his shows. Even friends of ours that were in bands, we used to go to all their shows. And I've seen artists like Metallica and Avenged Sevenfold, and you know, other bands like August Burns Red, Beartooth, Attila. These are all metal bands, especially, that I've seen a lot. I've seen all of them multiple times, and for all the concerts I've ever been to, I've never once worn hearing protection. So it's kind of a miracle that this didn't happen to me sooner. You know what I mean? So long story short, please wear hearing protection. I don't care if you're all the way in the back, you know, in the cheap seats, if you're seeing the Wiggles, you know, if you're at any kind of concert, please wear hearing protection, okay? It is not worth it, because the sound levels of concerts can exceed, like, you know, 100 decibels, which is not safe. Anything past like 80 decibels for a long time is not safe to listen to. And this particular concert was 75 minutes long. I remember because I actually kind of timed it. I was like, how long are they going to play? Because if you guys are, you know, Death Grips, these guys are bare bone. They don't have any fancy stage setup. It's literally the singer, the drummer, and the guy on the electric keyboard, and they just go crazy. Like, seriously. They're all shirtless, you know, they're all crazy, full of sweat, you know. The concert itself was awesome, okay? Now, I was expecting that. The whole time, I was literally drenched in sweat. It was literally like the crowd itself was a mosh pit, okay? Like, everyone was pushing and shoving, and, you know. Now, to some of you guys, if you don't go to concerts, you're probably like, how is that appealing? How is that fun? I've always loved concerts, especially heavy, you know, metal shows. I mean, Death Grips isn't metal technically, but it's still the same kind of energy in the crowd. I've always loved that stuff. To me, it's always been fun, and, you know, just getting a kick out of moshing and, you know, just letting loose, you know. So the concert itself was fun. I actually posted a video from the first song they played, if you want to go and check it out. You could actually see how close I was to the band. Now, anytime I record a show, I notice the video makes it appear like I'm actually further away than I actually was. I was actually closer than it appears in the video. Something to do with the camera, I guess. I don't know. So long story short, during this show, I made the stupid decision to try to edge my way closer to the front. You know, I was already pretty close. I was probably like a little over 10 feet away from the band, you know. Now, I was towards my right was a loudspeaker. And like I said, I was sort of edging closer to the front as the show went on. I didn't get to the very front. You know, like I said, I was probably 10 feet away from the speaker for the majority of the show. And it really, I was feeling it. Like, I was feeling the sound waves hitting me. I was like, man, this is loud, you know. But again, this may sound silly. I did not know you could get tinnitus from concerts. I didn't know. Like I said, I only knew about it from that movie, and I never really ever heard about it again. I figured, yeah, you can get progressive hearing loss from going to concerts all your life, but I didn't realize you could have this happen to you. If I knew about this beforehand and how terrible of a condition it was, I definitely would have wore, you know, something in my ear. I mean, I don't know. I say that now, but, you know, that's why making videos like this is important. I'm trying to, like, raise awareness about this, you know. So anyways, I was close to the speaker the entire show, and then when the show ended, my ears were very muffled. And this happens a lot with concerts. You'll go to, if you haven't worn, I'm sure everybody watching this has gone to a concert without hearing protection. I mean, everybody's done it, right? So, you know, when you go to a concert and it's really loud, and you have, your ears are, everything sounds muffled because your ears are damaged. Now, they heal usually overnight, and the muffle goes away, which is always what happened to me. I've always had that happen, you know. I'd wake up the next day, I'd still have a muffle, and throughout the day it would just slowly go away. That's the same thing that happened here, but this time the muffle was very bad. Like, the muffle, I couldn't really hear anything. Like, I don't want to say I was almost deaf, but I feel like I was almost deaf. And there was another thing I noticed that I'm pretty sure never happened to me, was there was a ringing. And I looked up online, you know, obviously, you know, the days following this, I was looking up everything having to do with tinnitus. I was like, I see people talking about, oh yeah, I always get like a ringing after a concert and it goes away after like a day, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's what it is, you know. When the show ended, I do distinctly remember this. I remember hearing somebody else in the crowd say, man, my ears are ringing like crazy. So I was like, okay, good, I'm not the only one. And the thought actually did pass through my mind, like, is that tinnitus? Like, what is that? I think I might have overdid it, you know? The thought actually did pass through my mind the first night. So, you know, I was walking back to my car. It was in a parking garage. And I forgot to mention, too, this concert was outdoors. The venue it played at was a venue I've been to many times. It has an indoor stage. And I did not know that they had another stage outside. There's like a back door that takes you to this whole other area. If you live in South Florida, it's Revolution is the venue I'm talking about. I've been there tons of times. And I didn't know they had a little stage out back. So this is actually better in my opinion, because the way sound waves travel, I feel like because it was outdoors, I had less of an impact. I feel like if I was in the same scenario indoors, it probably would have been worse. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure that's how sound waves travel. You know, if it's outside, you know, it goes out more and it hits you less, you know. But then again, maybe that's why they turned it up extra loud. I don't know. But you know, I make this joke because I have dark humor. If any band was going to give me tinnitus, it was Death Grips, okay? So, yeah, I do not blame Death Grips in any way. I don't blame the venue in any way, you know. Everyone knows you need to wear hearing protection. Everyone knows this. And it's crazy, too, because I remember when I was standing in line before the show, the people in front of me actually pulled out their hearing plugs, their earplugs. They had it in like a little Ziploc bag, and they were like, you know, saying, "Oh, these are the ones I brought." They were talking to each other about it, and it was actually kind of like, now I think back about it, it was kind of like this weird omen. It was like the sign before it happened to me. I was like, oh man, I probably should have like asked them to borrow some or something. You know what I mean? So, anyways. Part 3, I'm going to talk about everything that has happened since, okay? So I went home that night, and again, very super muffled. I could barely hear anything, and there was a loud ringing in mostly my right ear, because like I said, the speaker was to my right, and it was in my left ear as well, but I noticed it was a little louder in the right ear. And I was like, man, this ringing is bad. I hope it goes away tomorrow, you know what I mean? So I went to bed that night. And it wasn't easy, you know, because of the loud ringing, obviously, but I was able to eventually fall asleep. And like I said, I wasn't in panic mode yet. I was just thinking, okay, I'll wake up and it'll most likely be gone. If not, it'll be better. I woke up the next day, and it was actually my best friend's birthday that day, so I was pretty much just hanging out with him all day. So it was a good thing because it kind of distracted me from it for the most part. So I woke up the next day. It was Saturday, the 30th of September, and I noticed the muffle went down a little bit, but the ringing did not go down. So I did worry a little bit, I ain't gonna lie, but I was like, all right, let me just wait till the end of the day. Let me hang out with my friend, and maybe it'll be gone when I wake up tomorrow. Yeah, so I was hanging out with him all day. We had a great day, you know. We went to a hibachi restaurant and did all kinds of stuff, and, you know, it was fun. Came back home that night, and the ringing was the same volume. The muffle was completely gone at that point, but I was starting to worry, and I started looking up things online. And anyone that's dealing with this right now, you'll watch videos of people talking about their story, and they're going to tell you, do not look up stories online, because there are some horror stories about tinnitus. People have literally been driven insane by it, and to the point of no return. I'll just say that. It can literally ruin your life, depending on how bad you have it and how loud it is. It can literally ruin your life. I'm not going to say don't look at it. You know, I feel like that's sort of part of the experience of this. You kind of have to read all the stories, because there are positive stories out there. People's tinnitus has gone away, you know, but be cautious of the certain stories you do read. If they look like, if you see like a link to like on Reddit or something, because I went through all the Reddit forum, and you know, there's another forum, tinnitustalk.com, I think it is. There's all kinds of forums, and if you see a particular story and the title does not look like appealing, you might want to avoid certain stories, okay? So this is night number 2. Like I said, I was reading these stories and I was like, oh no, I think I might have this because the volume has not gone down. And I remember too Googling, like, okay, how long does it last after a concert? And I remember it said it typically lasts up to 48 hours, and if it's severe, it can last up to 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, worst case scenario, it'll be gone after 2 weeks. Yeah, no. So I woke up again the next day. This is Sunday. And also, I forgot to mention too, so Saturday night, after I hung out with my friend and I was ready to go to sleep, it was hard for me to sleep this night because now I was freaking out about the tinnitus. And something I came to learn later on is that when you freak out about tinnitus, obviously your anxiety goes up. And your anxiety going up causes you to focus more on the ringing. And then the ringing goes up. And as the ringing goes up, your anxiety goes up. As your anxiety goes up, the ring. It's literally like a vicious cycle, okay? So literally this vicious cycle of me worrying about it and it sounding louder, me worrying and it sounding louder. So it was hard for me to sleep that night. I remember I did fall asleep eventually, but I only slept for a couple hours. I woke back up because the ringing was loud. I feel like the muffling made it seem louder the first night, but I was able to fall asleep to it because I wasn't already looking up tinnitus things. I guess total in the first night I was okay with sleeping just because I wasn't worrying about it. Now because I was stressing about it, it was hard for me to sleep. So I slept for a couple hours. I was able to fall back asleep again, and I wake up the next day and the ringing's still there. So this is Sunday now. Sunday, the October 1st. This was definitely a low point in the 2 months. This night, Sunday night, when I tried to sleep again, I literally was not feeling well. Like, I was really stressing about it because I literally could not fall asleep this night. Like, I was putting on things to distract me, like a movie or YouTube videos, whatever. I could not fall asleep to anything. Eventually I found people post things on YouTube. They'll post like 10-hour loops of like white noise and, you know, different things to distract you as you sleep, you know, because the ringing just keeps you awake. And it was mostly because of the stress is why I couldn't sleep, honestly. Now that, you know, now that I have more knowledge about it, it was because I was very stressed out about it. I don't really, you know, I don't know if this is obvious or not or whatever. I don't really talk about this. But before I had the tinnitus, you know, I'm actually kind of an anxious person in general. You know, it's something I've come to learn about myself in the last couple of years. I try my best not to show it, you know, but it is true. I am kind of anxious, you know, and me getting this was probably the worst thing that could happen to me because, man, the link between tinnitus and anxiety is very strong, and it's definitely something I wouldn't recommend for anybody. Like, literally, it is torture. I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Like, seriously, it is bad. So, Sunday night was bad, and I remember just, you know, literally thinking, man, if this does not get better, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm freaking out. So the next morning, I eventually fell asleep and probably woke up in the middle of the night again, you know. The next morning, Monday morning, when I woke up, the ringing in my left ear I thought was gone. So I started getting excited. I was like, oh my God, thank God. Because I knew my right ear was worse. So I'm like, okay, the right ear is just going to take longer to go away. The left ear went away, thank God. No, it didn't go away. So in the past weeks, I've noticed I'll have some nights where the ringing will be more noticeable in one ear rather than the other. Even sometimes in my left ear. It'll be more noticeable in my left ear than my right ear, which is very strange. So that was Monday morning when this happened to me. I thought my left ear was cured. So the next couple of nights, I was able to sleep a little better because my anxiety went down a little bit. And in the next, you know, couple days or so, whatever, it came back in my left ear. Now, in terms of like how loud was the ringing, the first night it was definitely like an 8 or a 9 maybe. It was really loud. You know, I'm talking like right after the concert. It was really loud. I can't say it was quite a 10, you know. I don't really know what a 10 would be. I'm just guessing, you know. You can't really know what it is, you know what I mean? Because it's literally your own interpretation of how loud it is, because only you can hear it. And it's crazy because anyone that deals with tinnitus, it's literally you're fighting a silent battle. You know, someone will look at you and there's nothing wrong with you visually, but you are going through it in your head, okay? So the next couple of days, the ringing eventually came back in the left ear. And again, I had my ups and downs with this thing for weeks, okay? Ups and downs emotionally. I literally hit depression a couple times, and for the most part of my life, I consider myself a positive person. You know, I'm very optimistic. I just do things that I enjoy. I don't really hang around negativity or negative people or anything like that. And for the first time in my life, I can genuinely say I was depressed for several days, several weeks actually. You know, there were some days where I was used to it, you know, and there were some days where I wasn't. You know, I was just like, man, I need to turn off this ringing. It's driving me nuts. And there were days where I had both feelings, you know. There was days where I was going up and down throughout the day with the ringing. Now, you guys that are going through it right now, if anybody is, all right, this is my recommendation for you. It's going to be hard to accept this, but the thing with tinnitus is that it's either going to go away or it's not, okay? You just have to kind of like say, all right, I have this now and I have to deal with it. And it's hard. I'd notice sometimes, you know, when I'd be at work, you know, because the way it works is if you're in a silent environment, you can hear it. Depending on how loud yours is, like I said, mine is probably like a 5 to a 6, okay? Right now, I can hear it, but it's not that bad because I feel like I've sort of habituated to it. And habituation is the process of your brain getting used to it. You know, you just sort of fade it into the background. There's been select moments I've noticed in the last week in particular, actually, where I haven't really paid attention to it. I've almost completely forgot about it sometimes, actually, you know, for brief moments, you know. But the last 2 months for me overall have been very difficult. I have been getting decent sleep, you know. I put on a particular, I like pink noise. There's different versions of white noise. There's white noise, pink noise, blue noise, purple noise. There's all kinds of different ones. But for some reason, the one that's called pink noise really works for me. I like that one. So I literally just put that on as I go to bed, and it helps me, you know, not pay attention to it. Another issue when I go to sleep, I'm a side sleeper, okay? So when you sleep on your side and your head's against the pillow, you know, if you put pressure against your ear, it makes the ringing sound louder in that particular ear. So it kind of sucks. So you kind of have to like sleep on your back, you know, for the most part. Which again is very, you know, this is an adjustment period for me right now. I also need to mention too, I feel like I have slight, there's a condition called hyperacusis, and what it is sensitivity to loud noise. I feel like I kind of have that a little bit because I notice when there's loud noise around me, people talking very loudly or whatever, it kind of hurts me a little bit. Now, I've been able to go to the movie theaters a couple times, and I've been able to handle it, but I do notice as the movies are starting and it's loud, my ears are kind of just hurting a little bit, but they have to adjust, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know if it is hyperacusis, because hyperacusis is very bad if you actually have it severely. Like literally any noise can hurt you, like it's bad. So I don't know if I have a slight version of that or whatever, but anyways. So you're probably also wondering, did I see a doctor? Yes, I did, but the issue was I kind of waited a little too long, okay? So remember when I said I read that thing on Google, it said it could take up to 2 weeks to go away? I decided to be stupid and like, okay, let me just wait 2 weeks. Let me tough it out. I actually had a coworker of mine I talked to about this, and he actually had it before. He told me he went to a club one night. He was there for a couple hours. He was near the loudspeakers, and he had it for 3 weeks. He told me, and he was like, yeah, it wasn't super bad, but it was annoying, and I had it for 3 weeks. And he said he went to a doctor. The doctor gave him like ear drops or something, and eventually it went away. He says he does get it occasionally from time to time, but it's only like at a level 2. Like, it's not loud at all. So in my mind, he told me that. I was like, okay, let me wait 3 weeks for it to go away. 3 weeks pass, and it doesn't go away. So I was like, you know what? Let me just wait a whole month for it to go away. And it didn't go away after a whole month. So I said, all right, let me just finally make an appointment. I just kept pushing it off. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was afraid of what the doctor might tell me. I was afraid that maybe I have hearing damage. Maybe I might have permanent tinnitus. Like, I was scared. So that is probably the main reason why I waited so long. Now, I did a hearing test at the doctor, and my hearing is totally normal, which I expected, because after the muffling was gone, after the second night, everything sounded the same to me. Like, I didn't feel like my hearing went down at all. I just feel like my hearing is normal, but now I have ringing, which is really annoying. So I did a hearing test, and everything was normal. Like, my hearing was great. Now, the only thing that sucks is I went into this like soundproof room, this tiny little room. They sealed the door. They put in these weird earplug things that make noise. And if anyone has tinnitus, you know this. If you go into a silent room, your tinnitus gets louder. If you put in earplugs, your tinnitus gets louder. The combination of the two was not good. Like, I'm telling you guys, it sounded so loud in my head when I was in the soundproof room and with the plugs in. It sounded so loud, I felt like I was going to pass out. It was bad. But anyways, I do a hearing test, and I passed with flying colors. My hearing is great. So after all these concerts I've ever been to without hearing protection, I'm kind of amazed that my hearing is great. Like, seriously, I can't believe that. So anyways, so the doctor looked at my ears, and she saw there was no earwax buildup. She said my ears were very clean. There's no sign of any, scabbing or, anything, any like visual damage in my ear. Like, obviously you can't see all the way in, but for what she could see with the little scope thing that they put up in your ear, everything looked totally fine. So what it was, most likely, is that your inner ear, which obviously you can't get to, it's inside your head, there's the part of the ear called the cochlea, and on the cochlea there's these little tiny hairs that process sounds and whatnot. So when I was at this concert, these little hairs got damaged to the point of no return, probably, because what happens is if you experience loud noise for a loud time or extended period of time, the hairs eventually regenerate and come back up. Now, if you're exposed to it for too long and it's too loud, these hairs never come back up. They never stand back up or get regenerated. They're just totally dead. And that creates the false perception of sound in your brain. So that's probably what happened to me. So yeah, the doctor just said pretty much, if it's not gone within 6 months, it's most likely permanent. Now, I've read stories online that have said, like, oh, it went away after 8 months, it went away after a year, it went away after 2 years. It is possible for it to go away after a long time. But for me, the biggest challenge is the unknown. Like, I don't know if it will ever go away. I don't know if I'm going to live the rest of my life with this noise in my head. And it's kind of scary, I'm only 27 years old, so it's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, deal with this, it's not fun. The last couple of weeks have been very interesting. I actually got sick twice in these 2 months. I got sick in mid-October. I had a sinus infection, which is common for me, actually. I've talked about this on my channel. I have what's called a deviated septum, so like I literally breathe out of one nostril at a time. So like right now I'm breathing out of my right nostril. My left nostril is closed right now. So like these will switch every couple hours or so. I don't really pay attention to it. I was literally born with it. So I'm prone to getting sinus infections. So I ended up getting a sinus infection mid-October, and I feel like it was mostly because of A, the stress from the tinnitus, and B, we did have a little bit of a weather change. I think it was raining and whatnot here in Florida. So anytime there's like a crazy weather change or whatever, sometimes I can get a sinus infection. And this one in particular was post-nasal drip, which is like buildup of mucus in your throat. So like my throat was like, I had a really raspy voice, you know, it was bad. So I was literally waking up in the middle of the night coughing up mucus. It was terrible. And then the ringing sounded even louder because of it. It was bad. It was bad, okay? That lasted roughly 2 weeks. I was taking Mucinex and, you know, and everything. Then I ended up getting sick again about 2 weeks ago, and that one was literally just from stress. I had a day, I want to say it was like November 17th or something like that, where I literally hit a low point with the depression. I was literally all day freaking out about the tinnitus because I actually had to do something for work where I was in a quiet setting, and I couldn't stop thinking about the tinnitus because I could keep hearing it. And that day in particular, I was not feeling well. I was literally like, people were talking to me, and I was literally crying on the inside. Like I was like, I can't function right now. Like I'm literally like, you know, I'm trying to look normal in front of them as they're talking to me, but like in my head, I'm like, I cannot live like this. Like I cannot, I'm not okay right now. So this video is already 30 minutes. I need to stop the video. Anyways, so the doctor, she actually prescribed me prednisone, which is like a steroid. It's supposed to help, you know, with hopefully repairing the hair cells or whatever. It doesn't always work. You know, for some people it works, some people doesn't. Now, because I saw the doctor, you know, over a month later, you know, it was probably too late at that point. So I took the prednisone for a week, and it didn't do anything for me. I didn't notice any difference, to be honest. So as far as supplements go, let me show you guys what I've been taking. So before I had tinnitus, I was already taking these two. This is fish oil. This is good for like brain health and, you know, basically just cleaning out yourself. Like it gets rid of all the junk in your system. You know, when you go pee, your pee is going to be like dark yellow. That's because you're cleaning out your insides pretty much. Fish oil is very good for you. I also take this as a multivitamin. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. Vitamin B12 people say is good for tinnitus, and which this does have. And I know it's a little blurry, but if you can read any of that, I buy this at the vitamin shop personally. Let me see if I can focus on it if the camera wants to. But yeah, it's not focusing. But you can look this one up. So I take this. I've been taking this for like 2 years. Same with the fish oil. Now, ever since I got tinnitus, I was looking up, okay, what is good for tinnitus? Like, what could possibly help? This one right here is my #1 recommendation, GABA. This is good because, #1, it puts you in a good mood, and it relaxes you. And it's good for your brain health, because your brain is what processes the tinnitus. It's what's causing the ringing, actually, because it thinks it's hearing something when it really isn't. Magnesium is good. You know, this one in particular has zinc and calcium in it. Zinc is supposed to be good for you, but the magnesium I think has been helping too. It's, again, good for the brain, all the nerves and whatnot. So definitely take that. Bromelain, this is good for anti-inflammatory. They literally get this stuff from pineapples. If you guys didn't know, pineapples are very anti-inflammatory. So it's good because if you have any inflammation, that can contribute to the tinnitus. So definitely do this. I've literally actually been eating pineapples every day. Like I literally buy these things and I eat these. So, and then there's another one here. I can't speak too much on this one. This is ginkgo biloba. Everybody says to try this. This one is actually an antagonist of GABA. Do not take these together, okay? I made that mistake one night. So I was doing the GABA for a couple days, and then I was, you know, like, okay, what else can I take? Let me buy another supplement. Then I bought the ginkgo. So I took ginkgo one night after I'd taken GABA, and I was literally, like, my brain was super wired. Like, my body was physically tired, because this is around bedtime that I took this. My body was physically tired, but my brain was super wired. So do not, that kind of rhymed. Do not take these two together, okay, people? That is not a good idea. So I can't really speak on this one because I'm still currently taking the GABA every night, which I don't want to give this one up. I like this one, so Don't take both at the same time. So again, I don't know if the ginkgo is, if it does anything, to be honest. So, sorry I keep stopping to drink water. My throat's really raspy right now. But anyways, like I mentioned, the last 2 months have been very bad for me. So what I'm going to do is 2 months from now, I'm going to do an update video. Just to let you guys know, like, did it get worse? Did it ever go away? Whatever. Actually, if it does go away at some point before 2 months, I'll make a video right away, you know. So, yeah, that's really about it, guys. I just wanted to make this video as like a PSA, you know. And if any of you guys have ever dealt with this, or you do deal with this on a daily basis, please let me know your stories in the comments and what you did to, you know, deal with it. But yeah, that's really about it, guys. I really do wish you guys luck in the future if you ever go to loud events or whatever. If you never, I don't want this to happen to anybody. Like I said, I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. So yeah, I just had to make this video. Thank you guys for watching, and if you're new to my channel, you know, I definitely don't post stuff like this all the time. This is definitely a new thing for me, and I really do hope it goes away one day. I've gotten to the point right now where it does not bother me as much. As you can tell in this video, you know, I can hear it as I'm recording this, but I'm pretty much trying to do my best to ignore it. I feel like I've mostly habituated to it at this point. Normally it takes around 3 months, I've read online, to not really notice it anymore. Like I said, mine is like a level 5 or like a level 6 in terms of intensity. In terms of volume, I guess you could say. But, yeah. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this, and have a good one. Please wear hearing protection. All right.